Okay. Let me see. Facebook should be able to hear me okay, but YouTube, I need to make sure that you all can hear me. My microphone is on now and it looks like it's working. Okay. So I know earlier I could not hear myself. I don't think you all can hear me. So I started the live over. Hi, Tiffany Jones. I guess you can hear me okay. So we shouldn't have an issue now. I know when I was just on, I kept asking, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And no one was saying anything. So um if at any time my sound goes out and you all aren't able to hear me, then just let me know for sure. Now, let me make sure that my volume is all the way up for Facebook. All right, so y'all know when I have my board up and my board behind me that we're going to go over classes in session, as I like to say, right? So I was trying to allow a few moments for people to join in, for the notifications to let them know that we're on. I am coming on a lot later than I expected. But as you all know, this is tax season for me. So I do kind of probably come on later in the evening. So I'm not going to say 6 o'clock anymore. Moving forward, we'll be like how we was doing last year on our normal schedule, like that 8 to 9 o'clock time frame, for me to be able to get on when we're doing these. So today is Finance Friday. And I am on Facebook and YouTube. The replay will be on the YouTube channel. So I am Patrice L. Stewart on all platforms. If you're new here, welcome to the channel and the page. If you are not familiar with me, then I would like to introduce myself so that way you know who you are listening to tonight. So my name is Patrice L. Stewart, better known as the Realist Tax and Business Strategist. I have over 20 years in the tax, accounting, financial services industry. And so one of the things that I like to do with my platform is talk about personal issues that we have right in our communities, but also I like to go over different tax tips, credit tips, and then business tips. So my day job that I do, I have a company called Tax Credit Academy. That's where I'm at now in my office. And I'm a tax and business strategist by day, right? But like I said, my passion is to kind of get on and educate my community on different topics. So last night I came on and we kind of talked about what's going on in America, right? I didn't talk about any type of financial topic. So as always, if I have a rant and we're going into some other different topics, I like to always come back with you all and actually give you something that you could take away, right? Actually give you some information, some tips that you can utilize to actually change your life, right? So tonight on Finance Friday, I wanted to go over a couple of topics, really more just kind of give you some insight onto some things like right now with it being tax season. I definitely just want you all to be aware and understand the possible repercussions of dealing with certain people. Okay. And then I kind of just wanted to throw a couple of tips out there for what you should look for if you're going to work with a tax professional. And then we'll get into the credit topic. So tonight I wanted to talk about credit with you all. I know I've shared the Navy Federal pledge loan option, especially for some of you all who are getting a large tax refund, right? If you're getting a large tax refund, you want to know how you can utilize that money. You want to know how possibly you could borrow against that money and then be able to have that money available to you again, right? And then also we'll just go over some more credit tips. So let's start with the taxes first. And then I'm also very interactive. So if you all have questions, you can always type your questions in. I kind of have a time frame and I tell you to type your questions, but if you want to just type it and get it off your chest, you can always put it in the chat and then I should see it on YouTube later. But we'll go ahead and get right into tonight's topic. Anyone else that comes on. We'll just come on in when we can hear. Okay, great, Tiffany. Thanks for letting me know loud and clear, because I know I did have a little issue earlier. Hello, Declutter Queen. Hello, Tasha Speaks. What is going on this Friday evening with you ladies? So first thing at hand, let's go into the tax topic, right? So y'all know it's tax time. And I just want to say I'm actually proud of not seeing 8,000 8,000 people promoting to do taxes this year. And from Chicago, from my standpoint on my Facebook page, right? I have not seen a whole lot of people promoting taxes, right? Which is good, because one thing that you all need to know and understand, and this is a couple of tips that I want to give you. If you decide to work with someone who's doing your taxes, let me just give you a couple of tips. One, the person who you decide to work with, you need to, one, kind of vet these people, right? Do not be okay with just sending any random person who you think is going to get you the biggest refund all of your personal information, right? Your kids' social cards, your social cards, date of birth certificates, whatever, right? All of that is personal financial information. And so you want to make sure that whoever you're deciding to work with to give this information to, you want to vet them out, right? You should actually look at them, check out their social media pages, see how long they've been in business, see how long they've been filing and preparing taxes. And then also, you all won't know everything, but you should know enough to decide. You should know enough about that person to decide if they really know what they're doing, right? It's a difference from side hustling tax people, and it's a difference from working with an actual professional. Right now, today, in the world that we live in, we have a lot of side hustling tax people. Okay, a lot of people that are claiming that they can get you these $10,000, $20,000 tax refunds. I need you all to ask questions. Okay. I need you all to want to know, how is someone getting you that? Because what you're not at, those type of questions that you're not asking can affect you later on. All right. A lot of people now are being audited, especially with that time frame of the whole PPP loans through 2020 and 2021. A lot of people tax returns are being audited right now because of what they filed and processed before, right? Or they're also being held and audited because a lot of people were promoting this $20,000, $30,000 in 2022, especially. And a lot of you all weren't asking how do they come up with that amount, right? And so I want you to be aware of what is out here, what you're being told, all right, and then what's really the honest truth. So right now, there are no tax credits that are going to get you $20,000 to $30,000, especially for those of you all who have never seen those type of taxes before, right? And so you just want to make sure that you are paying attention and don't just be so big on and be money hungry and be greedy, all right? Because greed will literally mess you up. So you may get the money today, and the IRS will audit you in 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 years, and then you will owe all of that money back, right? So just know, if you decide to do something, make sure you know and understand this alone, because the IRS will always come back, all right, and get that money. I need y'all to know that. So as far as with the Tuesday, I'll come on and give you like some actual different tax tips. We're going to go over some forms. A lot of you all, if you're still waiting for paperwork, today is January 31st. So your employer should have those W-2s, 1099s, all of those documents are supposed to be filed today. Are some people late? Do some people file later after today? Yes, they do. I'm working with a couple of employers now that are still trying to gather their paperwork and get things together, right? So technically, you are supposed to have those documents in the mail by today, or sent to you digitally by today. But it could also be by next week that you'll start getting some of those as well, right? If you are an employer and you need to process a W-2 or a 1099, and you need assistance with that, reach out to my office. We do assist with that. You all will be penalized. You can still file them, but I want you to know, for the month of February, you do get an additional penalty because it was not filed by today's date, the 31st, okay? But there are a lot of different type of tax forms. And so next week, I'm going to go over and do a video series for you all on YouTube. This won't be on Facebook, but on YouTube, there will be a video series that I host. And every day I'm going to go over different tax forms, like what is a 1099K statement? What is a 1099 NEC? What is a 1099G, right? It's about 12 to 15 1099 forms, different forms, right? And so a lot of you all sometimes think that you don't have to file these forms, right? Any tax form that the IRS receives, you all need to file them. Okay, so just if you get 5 W-2s and you missing one, and you're like, well, I only made $300 from that company. No, you all, you still need to wait and get that $300 W-2 and file it with your return. Okay, you need all of your paperwork. Any paperwork that the employer sends to the IRS, you need to file that on your taxes. Because if we file your taxes and you're missing paperwork, that's a sure, easy way to get an audit. Okay. So remember that if you don't know that, because some people that are new to me come and they say that, well, I have a return, another W-2, but it's small. Like, it doesn't matter that it's small. You still have to file it because it got reported to the IRS. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions about what I just said for that part, for the tax part? After I do this quick tax update, then we're going into the credit tips. Declutter Queen, you say it's Shar. Oh, hey, Miss Shar. You all have these different names on your social media, so I don't always know who's on. Hey, Keys Mamba, you say thank you for all that you do. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Kiana. Okay. I just had to double check and make sure. So, okay, we don't got no questions. So the other thing is, what was the other thing that I wanted to tell y'all with the taxes? Oh, so the last tax update that I do want to remind you is, remember, people are offering advances right now. So you can apply, like my office, we offer advances as well. So you can apply for an advance, right? But what I like you all to remember, I'm not real huge on these advances, because what I like you all to remember is they are still a loan. Okay. So even if people are offering, or you see different posts about offering advanced loans, remember, you are getting an advance on your tax refund, but it is a loan. So you will be charged interest on it, right? If you can wait, right? I don't know people's situations. Some people are applying for the loans and some people are not. But if you can wait, then that will be a good thing, because you're not paying interest on that loan payment, right? But the interest, I would say, is not a whole lot, since now we're getting closer to February, right? And so if you don't remember, all of you all who are filing child tax credit, earned income credit, or American Opportunity Credit, you are held until February 15th, right? So right now they're processing taxes. The IRS opened January 27th on Monday and are actively processing taxes. We're filing taxes. They're accepting tax returns, right? But remember, they're not processing those of you all who have those 3 credits on there: child tax credit, earned income credit. Get one. Yeah, give me one. Earned income credit, child tax credit, and American Opportunity Credit. They have been holding you all's taxes until February 15th for the last 5 years now, I want to say, maybe longer than that, right? And so then they start processing everyone's return around February 28th, and then people start getting deposits that first week of March, right? So the other option that we have is we can offer you a cash advance if you are looking to get a portion of your refund, a little sooner without having to wait until March. But most people are going to see their taxes start being released in March. March is probably the heaviest payment month that I see with, with everything going on. So I just want you all to also remember that. So we do offer those as well with cash advances here. My office does work with clients in all 50 states. So you all, I'll make sure that most of my videos has my link in it. If you're on Facebook, all of my information is in my profile page, but on YouTube, the information is in the main page as well too. But I'll put my link in the comment here just for the replay for the YouTube. But again, we do, and I'm an e-file agent as well. So we can file your last 3 years worth of taxes electronically. All right. So we're filing 2024, 2023, and 2022. We can process those 3 years electronically. You would not be mailing those in unless you have an issue or something that requires them to be mailed in. Other than that, we can electronically file your last 3 years worth of taxes. And my office is open all year round. We are a January through December office. I don't shut down after April. Well, I do take a break. I take a break and then I start back up in May and we process taxes through the rest of the year. So I think that's it for the tax update. Like I said, next week I'll have some uploaded videos for you all, giving you some different tax tips and then also information on the forms that you receive. I'm not going to go really into too much tax updates because they're still going through some things. People have been messaging me and asking me a little bit about, what do I think with this new administration? Remember, he just got in office last week. So a lot of stuff has not been passed. A lot of stuff has not gone through Congress and Senate. So I'm not going to talk about those things until they're actually passed and into law. I don't like to bring up topics that are not into law, right? So we want to focus on what's actually been passed as a law. It's a lot of, misinformation. I feel like that's going on around right now. Any president can have ideas of what they want to do, right? But nothing is written in stone until it is passed and into law. And that's what we're going to focus on, okay? So now at this point, I'm done with the taxes, with the tax update. And I want to go into the credit. So the American Opportunity Credit, Crystal, is for people who attended college, right? So if you have a college student, if you yourself are a college student in undergrad, let me also state that this is an undergraduate credit for undergrad. So if you being a student or your dependents being a student. So you were either in some type of, more than likely it's college. I mean, I rarely see trade schools giving a 1098T form. But the American Opportunity Credit is an undergraduate college credit. So based off of the tuition or based off of the payments that you made, you're able to receive a credit. It's up to around, is it 2,000? The American Opportunity Credit? I want to say it's up to 2,000. Don't quote me on that. I got to go and look at the publication. There's so much in taxes. You can't remember every single thing, which is why you always have to have a reference, which is the IRS website for me. But in a nutshell, Crystal, that's what the American Opportunity Credit is. So for those of you all who have college students or you yourself are enrolled in college, and again, undergraduate, not graduate level, this is for undergraduate, and you're not filing that credit, that is something that you're missing. So go to your college website portal, log in. It should be an area where it talks about taxes. If your kids have not given you that, right? If your kids have not given you the form, ask them for the form. Because a lot of times I ask my clients, hey, isn't your daughter in college? They didn't give you a tax form? And they're like, no. And so they get on the phone and call their kid and they're like, log into your portal and pull up the tax form. And 99% of the time, the tax form is there. So because your kids don't know, right, especially if they've never filed taxes before, as parents, that's a credit that you all are missing out on, right? That's a nice credit that you all are missing out on. I saw Kiana posting something on here. Let me just make sure she wasn't saying something. Okay. Oh yeah, she was agreeing with me. A lot of misconceptions and misinformation, right? Kiana, that's why we have to get on and educate the community. Everyone that is on my YouTube channel and watching right now, please like this video, share this video, and follow the page. I am one of the very few individuals that I feel that is on this free internet, free 99, that actually comes on here and give you a lot of information, and I'm not charging you, right? I'm not asking you to get into a course, a class, a membership. So the minimum that you can do is when you're on my page is anytime you see me on here, like the video, share the video, follow the page. All right. That's how you respect somebody who is coming on and try to help you. Oh, all right. Let me just. Okay. So, Crystal, okay, cool. You said thank you. Got it. Right. So, any of you all, again, you got college students, make sure you're asking them for that 1098. It's a 1098T. T like Tom. That's the form. All right. And again, that's another form that I'm going to be breaking down next week when we load these videos up. Is I'm going to start going over some of these tax forms with you all, so you can actually understand what they are, right? Because a lot of people are missing credits and missing money because you're not working with a tax professional who's supposed to be asking you these type of things, right? If you're going to someone and they're just data entry and not asking you anything, you're probably not working with a professional. If any of your tax paperwork says self-prepared, you're not working with a professional, right? It's a difference. I like, and people sometimes get on here and, make their little smart comments or whatever, but it's a difference of who you work with out here in the tax world and industry. And some people are actually licensed, like Miss Kiana. She has EA behind your name. Anytime you see someone with an EA behind their name, they are licensed. They actually have the highest license, which is a federal license, licensed by the IRS in all 50 states to work with you. Okay. A tax attorney and a CPA are licensed within their state. So the enrolled agent license is the highest license that you could receive in taxation, in my opinion, right? So you need to know that, right? I'm not licensed. A lot of people think I am because of the knowledge and the information that I know, because I have studied like an enrolled agent. I just have never taken the exam, right? But the way that I run my business and the knowledge and the information that I study like an actual licensed professional. And so you all need to be aware of that. And so when you have paperwork that says self-prepared, that person who prepared your taxes is not responsible for the tax return. They have no responsibility. They have no responsibility. Do you understand that? Okay. Because a lot of times you all think that you're going to someone and then you think that you're going to somebody that's doing your taxes professionally, right? But they're not, because at the bottom of your paperwork, if it says self-prepared, that means that you filed the taxes. That means that they probably filed you on a TurboTax or a TaxSlayer or a Tax USA or something like that, right? And so then that means when something goes wrong, that person is nowhere to be found. So the difference of working with a tax professional, someone who actually has an office, someone who was actually registered with the IRS as an e-file agent, an ERO, that's what we're called, an enrolled, I forgot what ERO stand for at this moment. Okay. I'm not about to get into that. I'm an ERO. All right. And that means that you can actually process taxes electronically. That means when I print your paperwork, my name and my company information is on the bottom of your paperwork. The IRS knows that you came to me to file the taxes. So that means I'm stamping my name and saying, hey, I'm putting my name on this tax return. You get what I'm saying? So that's a big difference. That's a very big difference from you working with somebody that's working out the basement and filing your taxes on TurboTax, who have no responsibility. You get what I'm saying? So you all have to be aware of that. You have to know who you're dealing with. And so when you get in trouble and you can't call these people and you can't talk to them or ask them questions, that should be a red flag for you. Okay. And some of you all have to go through that to actually know that. So somebody will save and somebody will end up going to them, and then they'll have to call somebody like me in a year or two. I'm just responding. Hold on, y'all. Okay, Tony J has clicked into the thing, into the chat. He says, don't forget to claim your unclaimed property. Um, all right. I think that's it. I've answered everybody. And I don't think I have nothing on Facebook. All right, so let's get into this next topic. It's 25 minutes in. So the other thing that I wanted to go over with you tonight is it's the beginning of January, right? A lot of you all have these what do I like to call them? Like these New Year's resolutions, right? And kind of how you want to do things moving forward in the year. So one of the things that I'm going to tell you that you should think about or consider into this moving into this 2025 year. There's a lot going on in the world. All right, there's a lot going on in the politics. There's a lot going on. Unfortunately, we just I just shared an announcement of another plane crash happening today, less than 2 hours ago in Philadelphia. So it's a lot happening in the United States, right? Right. I want you all to also try not to get so overwhelmed emotionally with what's going on around you and really focus and hone in on you and your family and your livelihood and how do you plan to survive, right? One of the biggest things that I see personally on this internet, I see a lot of people talking and complaining, but not taking action to change their life. And so one of the things that you can do one of the things that you can do that actually that will change your entire life is fix your credit. If you have issues with your credit, that should be the very first thing that you start working on at the top of this year, because that one thing that you do with fixing your credit will now filter over into everything else that you can do to build yourself up, to build yourself out of living check to check, to build yourself into some financial stability, to build yourself into getting or starting a business, to build yourself into buying property, real estate assets, right? If this is not what you're thinking about, I need you all to start thinking about that, right? Don't get so caught up with everything that's in the news and what's going on around you when you and your children have to live and survive every single day. All right. And so one of the ways that you can do that is by fixing your credit. And so tonight, I'm just giving you a couple of tips on a couple of things that you can do. And one of the first things that you want to do is you want to pull your 3-bureau credit report. Okay. One of the main sites that I utilize is myfico.com. I'll type that in the chat. First, let me put my booking link on here. So it's myfico.com, MYF like Frank, I like Indigo, C like Charlie, O like Oscar.com, myfico.com. Now, sometimes you will see credit repair people telling you, oh, you can go to, any of these other sites, which you can. You can go to transunion.com. You can go to Experian.com. You can go to Equifax.com. I personally, when I'm working with a client, I use MyFICO. I have them pull their original MyFICO report. MyFICO, I use MyFICO because MyFICO is going to be the most accurate credit score and report that you can use. There are a lot of different type of scores and reports, right? You got FICO 8, FICO 6, FICO 7. You got different ones. Mortgage companies pull a different type of credit report than the auto companies do, right? So sometimes you have different pools, but MyFICO will give you the most accurate information with your score and your credit report. The one-time 3-bureau credit report, it is $59.99. They have gone up over the years. It is an initial investment of $60 if you want to do it. If you do not have an initial investment of $60, fine. Go on a free site. It's not free, but go on like free credit report, not free credit report because I don't like them anymore. What's the other one that I used to use? It's a couple of them that'll give you your 3-bureau credit report for $1, right? I used to use one. It's in my credit repair ebook. I forgot the name of it. But you can use those just to pull your initial credit, right? If you don't have the $60 with myfico.com, then go ahead and you can go to one of those sites that offer giving you your 3 bureau credit for $1. Or you can go directly to transunion.com, or you can go to Experian.com. I don't really pull credit reports off of Equifax because we live in the Midwest. So I'm in Chicago. A lot of Equifax accounts are more in the South. Being in the Midwest, a lot more companies pull from TransUnion. So if I'm working with a client that's in the Midwest, I would normally tell them to pull their TransUnion credit report, pull the report from transunion.com or Experian.com. You can order your 3 bureau credit reports from either one of those, right? TransUnion, Experian, or Equifax. I just don't personally use Equifax credit reports too often, okay? Once you do that and you pull your credit reports and you want to look at them and see each individual report, you have to remember certain companies don't report to all 3 bureaus. All right. If you have American Express may report to 2 out of your 3 cars. They may not always show up on all 3 bureaus, right? Same way with Chase. Some of Chase cars won't show up on all 3 bureaus, but they may show up on TransUnion and Experian, right? And so as you're looking through the 3 credit bureau reports, you'll be able to see what accounts report to all 3, right? And then you'll be able to see what accounts don't report to all 3. You may have an account on TransUnion that's not on Experian, right? And so this is another thing and why your scores are different sometimes, because there are different accounts reporting on there. The main thing that you want to be looking for are negative accounts like collections, charge-offs, anything in public records. If you have a bankruptcy, if you have a judgment, if you have a lien against you, like an auto or repossession, those accounts are the type of accounts that you want to start working on and disputing on, okay? I do have a credit repair ebook. It's $17. I show you in the ebook step by step. There's even letters in the ebook that you can actually download and retype them in. Not necessarily retype them in. All you have to do is edit them. They're already pre-fillable report letters that you can literally, all you have to do is just type in your name and your address and put your account on there. But the legal jargon is already on the credit report. And so once you do that, and once you start disputing those charges and getting those things cleared up, then now you can actually start working on building your credit. All right. So you always want to clean up the credit first. Sometimes y'all get on here and you're like, well, if I have a 500 credit score, what kind of car should I be applying for? You should not be applying for a credit card with a 500 credit score, right? You need to fix what's on your credit report first and then build it back up. And then you go out and apply for the different things that you need. That's why you keep getting denied, right? People, I've gotten that question before, like, well, you keep getting denied because you have a 500 credit score. That is a horrible credit score, right? And so if you have collections, charge-offs, bad debt, no lender wants to give you money because you show on your credit history that you don't know how to pay your bills. You get what I'm saying? So you have to clean that up. And or you have to also get an account that is reporting positively. And so this is where I'm going to lead into the whole credit union thing, right? And kind of what I was talking about before with the whole Navy Federal process. So one of the other things that you can do once you are starting to build the credit, once you have already cleaned it up, right? Now you got your credit report, you're looking at the accounts that you need to dispute. Maybe it's 30 to 60 days in now. Maybe some of those bad accounts have come off, and now you're like, okay, I'm ready to start rebuilding, right? So how are you going to rebuild? 9 times out of 10, you're going to do a couple of things, right? But the main thing is you need a primary account. And a lot of times when you're rebuilding, you have to get a secured credit card, all right? There's 2 different types of cards. You have secured, and anytime we say secured, you have to put the money up, all right? When we say unsecured, that means the bank is lending you the money. right? So normally when you apply to a bank, you're applying for a credit card and you're looking for them to give you $1,000, right? That's an unsecured loan. With secure loan, you're going to come to the bank and say, hey, bank, I have $1,000. I want to put it on this secure credit card, and you're going to use the card as needed, right? That's how you build your credit back up. So you definitely want to get you a secure card. I highly recommend going to a credit union. At this point, it doesn't matter what credit union. Every single city, every single state has credit unions. So any city and state that you live in, you can look up, just Google credit unions near me if you don't have one already, right? If you don't have one already, then Google credit unions near me and different credit unions will come up. Of course, Navy Federal is one of the, most talked about credit unions. PenFed, DCU.org, Alliant Credit Union, First Federal Credit Union. It's a lot of them, right, y'all? It's hundreds of thousands of credit unions. Let's just be clear, right? But I would recommend you open an account with the credit union. A lot of times you can get into a credit union by donating to some type of charity if you don't meet their standard requirements, right? Credit unions back in the day, you used to kind of have to only be able to have access to credit unions through your employer, but they have opened up more to the public in today's time frame. So a lot of people can go through a credit union and get in the credit union very easily today, right? Navy Federal is a lot harder to get into now because the cousins came in and ran amok. And when you have so much fraud out here on the internet today, things change, right? So if you can't get in Navy Federal, there are hundreds of thousands of other credit unions. But what I like about credit unions are their interest rates are lower for their lending products, and then their savings products are higher normally than a standard banking institution. Also, they're a lot more lenient normally with how they approve you for credit versus a standard banking institution. You may get denied at Chase or Bank of America, and you may get approved at a credit union, right? And so that's part of the reason when we're working with clients and you're building your credit back up, you definitely want to have a credit union in your roster, right? Now, and you can have more than one account. You can have a credit union and a regular account, right? I have regular accounts with the big box banks, but then I also have credit union accounts. So you want to make sure that you give yourself those options, right? Also with the credit unions, a lot of times, not always, I can only speak on Navy Federal because that's the one that I use the most right now, the credit union that I use the most. With Navy Federal, if you do a secure card, normally, as long as you have paid that card on time for 6 months on time, they will unlock that card and turn that into an unsecured card and send you your money back. Discover card does the same thing. Normally, if you pay that card on time, okay, for 6 months, they will unlock that card, refund, basically send you your money back, your deposit, that you put up. Because again, when you do the secure card, you have to put the money up. So if you start a secure card with Navy Federal with $500 in 6 months and you paid it on time, they will more than likely put that money back in your checking account or your savings account, whichever one you pulled it from, and then they will give you the $500 as an unsecured card. It will no longer be a secure card. So that's one of the ways that you want to do. Also, you can do if you want a loan option, right? So that's a credit card. If you want to do the loan option, you can do something like self-lender, or you can do the Navy Federal pledge loan, right? And if you don't have Navy Federal, again, other banking institutions offer a secured loan. You just have to ask them if they do. Normally, it's called a savings secured loan. That's the terminology that we use in the banking industry. I did work for a big box bank for 6 years. 6 years. So in the banking industry, that's the terminology that is used. It's called a savings secure loan. Also, when you ask them if they do a savings secure loan, be specific. You want a savings secure loan, not a CD. All right. If you do a CD, they're going to lock the money up for that term. If you do a savings account, every time you make that payment, the funds should be available to you again. Okay. I've done a big breakdown with this Navy Federal several times, several thousand times, and I'm kind of over it at this point. But on my YouTube channel, I do have a full 2-hour Navy Federal breakdown video where I'm on the board showing you the breakdown, going over everything. I don't know if I want to go ahead and do that tonight. I don't have a whole lot of time tonight. But I'm gonna stop for a moment because I've been talking a lot. And do you all have any questions at the moment? Do you have any questions at this time? Okay, I just typed everything in. Tony say February 1st, unclaimed property day, Illinois iCash property site. I went on there. They didn't have nothing for me, but it is good to go on there and check about the unclaimed property as well. All right. We don't have any questions. Hey, Tiana Washington. Let me get my finger out the way. I'm trying to scroll up and down YouTube. Okay. All right, so I don't have any questions. Okay. So one of the last and other benefits, not last, let me not say last because it's not. So one of the other things that with you fixing your credit can do is when you are a business, for those of you all who may or may not have a business or are a business owner, if you have a business, do not apply for personal credit cards. If you have a business, apply for business cards. Business credit cards are going to be higher in limit, all right, versus a personal individual card. So one of the things that I did when I started my business 15 years ago was I fixed my credit. And back then I used my personal cards, which is why I'm telling y'all not to do that, right? Because as you start spending for the business expenses are larger, right? They're going to start getting larger. So eventually you may, have $1,000 card, then you get a $5,000 card, then you get a $10,000 card. And as you are growing in this business, you're going to start using that card. If it's on your personal credit, it's going to affect you. Anything over 30% utilization is going to drive your score down. So the months that I had a higher credit limit, it affected my credit score. The beautiful thing with business credit, if you again, only if you are a business owner and you can apply for business credit. At least with that, as long as you pay the card and the card remains active, it does not get reported on your personal credit report. The card, like one of the cards that is a business card, which I'm not a big fan of, which is the Capital One card. What is it? The Capital One Spark Visa, which is for business. That gets reported to your personal credit. We don't really consider that a business credit card. If you go to Chase, PNC, Bank of America, those banks would not report. Same way with Navy Federal. If you go to Navy Federal and you get a business account and you apply for a business card, it is not reported to your personal social security number. So you can use the $10,000 card and it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't affect you. So for business owners, that's another benefit of you building your personal credit, because now you're using your business to maintain and operate, right? And you're using your business credit cards as well. So it's not affecting your personal life and your personal needs. If you're trying to go get a house or something like that, now all of that debt is not showing on your personal credit. It doesn't show up on the credit report, which affects your DTI, which affects your debt to income, right? And so that's one of the things that for me really took me to the really allowed me to be able to grow in my business once I fixed my personal credit. And then I learned business credit. Then I was able to use the business credit to do a lot more than what I was able to do when I first was starting off with the personal credit. Does that make sense? Um, and then also too, once your credit is fixed, there's other opportunities. You can go and get loans. You can go and, look at possibly getting different types of funding, especially if you're looking to buy asset, buy property, buy a house, buy an investment, all of that. They're going to look at your credit, right? Everything in America, the way that America is built, the system that is built, they have built this credit system, right? And so credit actually is king. That's what we say. Credit is king. Credit a lot of times surpasses cash. I actually had a client when I did work at the bank that had about $800,000 in his checking account, but his credit score was like below 550, and the bank denied him, and he couldn't believe it. And he was like, how, how am I being denied? And I have this money, sitting here on your, in your banking institution. And it's because his credit was jacked up. Right. So even though you have almost $1 million sitting there in cash, the underwriter is looking at your credit report. The underwriter is looking at how you pay your bills. You get what I'm saying? So in America, you can get a lot with credit, but also you have to know and understand that you need to pay that back. This is borrowed money. This is not your money, right? So if you get $10,000 on a credit card, you also have to be making the income to maintain and keep up with these credit cards, which is what I don't like about these so-called, influencers or people that share so much on the internet today, is because everybody's pushing to go to these banks and get this money and get this and get that. But no one is talking about, how are you going to pay these bills? How are you going to pay this credit back? Right? So yeah, you can get a $50,000 loan, but how are you going to pay it back? Yeah, you can get a $10,000 credit card, but how are you going to pay it back? Right? So it's easy to get it, but you also have to strategize how you're going to maintain it, how you're going to pay it back. So your credit is straight. Your credit is king. You want to start with that first. And then you can go into other things, right? One of the things that we're going to talk about next week for next Finance Friday is we're going to talk about trust and estate planning, because I also want you all to start thinking outside the box when it comes to how you do things in America, right? Again, we're taught a certain way, we're taught a certain system. I'm sorry, we're not taught, we're taught a certain way mentally, right? Which is systematic. We're not taught how to work the system. We're not taught how to actually take advantage of the system, right? And when I say take advantage of it, I'm saying take advantage of the laws that have been put in place for you and I, right? That's that everything that we have in America, there are laws and rules to it, right? And so in credit, there's laws and rules to it. And also in business, there's different laws and rules. And that's also why I'm sharing this and saying, if you have ever thought about starting a business, this is the year and time to do it. Okay. A lot of money will be passed around. A lot of things will be going out under this administration, because you have so many people, entrepreneurs, top 1% that are involved. Okay. At this point, it's nothing to complain about. It is what it is. So either you're going to fall in line and tap in, or you're going to be on the sideline just complaining, right? So for me, I'm not a complainer. I'm more of a doer, and I'm more of figuring out what the wealthy are doing to make sure that I'm doing that same thing. So, and I need you all to understand that the same tax advantages that are available to Jeff Bezos, to Elon Musk, to all of these top 1% people who have these different companies, right? All of those same tax laws and strategies, because they're in business, you get those same tax laws and strategies. You're just starting at a smaller scale, right? But everything that they're able to write off, you're able to write off as well, right? Everything that they're able to take advantage of as far as tax strategies and loopholes, you're able to do that as well. And that's what you have to remember. Get out of the fact that you're maybe not a millionaire yet, right? But if you learn what the millionaires are doing, and then you build yourself up and understand those same strategies, that's how you're able to work the system, as I call it, legally. I got to say this is all legally. Everything that's in this tax code is legal, right? And so that's one of the things that you want to do. You want to start thinking like that. You want to start strategizing. You want to start having an action plan, a game plan on how you are going to tap in to this money that will be available, that will be coming out to businesses, as well as the opportunities and different funding opportunities that may come out within this next couple of years, right? And honestly, all of these things have been around. Let's be clear, right? I didn't get in business for 15 years and building stuff without these things being around. So all of these things have been around. Every administration comes in and rolls out their own different, new programs, we'll say. But we've always had programs. We've always had tax laws. We've always had tax deductions. None of this is new, right? It's just certain administrations pour a little bit more into other areas than others do, right? The last administration we saw poured a lot of money into illegal immigration, right? And so this newer administration, you saw those billionaires standing behind him. Best believe some money is on the way and coming around. And so people like me who are in financial services, we pay attention to that. While some of you are on here complaining and talking, some of us are on here taking notes and paying attention to what's coming down the pipeline, right? So I will be updating you on some of this stuff. And if you want to tap in, then tap in. And if you want to stay complacent in where you at, then you can do that as well. Tony say, speaking on credit report, you say, I ain't paying nothing if I don't have to. Speaking on the credit reports. I mean, after a certain time frame, the statute of limitation does go away for certain things, which is why a lot of times we say if you are in collections, who pays collections unless you ultimately have to, right? 9 times out of 10, you can dispute a collection. Because once the once it goes to collection, it's a whole nother entity at this point. You're not even paying the original debtor, right? So Tony, I understand you in that aspect, but everything else, you need to be paying your bills. You need to be paying your bills on your credit card, your car note, your mortgage, all of that. You want all that stuff showing paid and on time, okay? And then the last thing that I'll leave you when it comes to the credit, if you do end up and you let's say you max your card out, right? Let's say you have $1,000 credit card and you max it out. One of the things that you can do is, my whole train of thought just went out the door. My whole train of thought just went out the door. What was I getting ready to say with maxing out your credit card, which I don't recommend, but I was saying if you had to, so remember this. Those of you all who have late payments on your credit report, I kind of know that you got late payments on your credit report because I don't want to say you was irresponsible because I don't know what in your life made that happen to where you had to do that. But I'm going to just say this. You have to be at least 30 days late for y'all to be reported. You get what I mean? If you have a bill that's due on the 15th and you pay that bill before a 30-day period, then normally you will not receive a late payment on your credit report, right? If you paid that bill on the 28th day, then they're not going to put the late payment. So you got to be late plus 30 days in order for it to show up late on your credit report, right? Now you're going to get a late fee probably within 5 to 10 days. They'll charge you a fee, but them actually reporting it to your credit report as late is after 30 days, y'all. So that means you just did not pay the bill at all. You didn't pay it by the due date, and then they gave you a 30-day grace period and you still didn't pay it, which is why you got late payments. So you have to remember that type of stuff. So as you are working on your credit and building your credit, you do not want late payments. If for some reason you are going to be late and you cannot make that payment within a 30-day process, call the creditor. Call your mortgage company, call your auto loan company, call your credit card company, and let them know that you are in a financial bind right now. A lot of times they will be able to let you miss a payment. Sometimes they'll let you miss 2 payments depending on what's going on. I know when we had disasters here in Chicago, my car company sent me a letter saying, hey, we noticed that there is a disaster in Chicago. We'll give you, if you need it, we'll give you an additional 60 days to pay your car note, right? So you all just have to be responsible with your debt and communicate and talk to the debtor. And a lot of times you won't even have to see that late payment. You know what I mean? A lot of times they can work with you and push your payment out, right? And basically they're pushing the payment that you have due to the end of the loan. That's what they consider it, right? But you all have options. And so I want you to be aware of that. I want you to know that. And so those are just some little quick tips that we had tonight. I'm trying to get out of here. I got something to do. So that's why I'm not really getting on the board, or else we would have been on the board. But I will be on tomorrow for Big Business Saturday. All right. So tomorrow is Saturday for my business owners. Tap in, come on in. I'm going to have some tips. I'm going to go over some information with you all, and also give you some updates on some of this stuff that's happening with this PPP. Okay. Again, I really get on here and try to share information with you all. I'm not getting on here to, as some people, the young mindset people, and call you a hater for telling people the truth and information, right? But a lot of people are really in trouble when it comes to this PPP. Of course, when people get in trouble, they get silent. People not putting the information all over the internet. But there are a lot of people who have been in trouble, who are losing their jobs based off of filing that PPP and then the taxes not matching, or the taxes not being filed at all. So tomorrow I'm going to share some information, as well as give you some tips tomorrow for business owners by being Big Business Saturday. So I don't see any questions or comments in the chat. So I'm at 58 minutes and 14 seconds. I wanted to get off of here within an hour, so I got less than 2 minutes. So if anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and ask your question now, or we will end this live tonight, and I will see y'all tomorrow in the morning. I'm planning on coming on around 10 a.m. I am in Chicago, so that's Central Standard Time, and I'll be on YouTube for sure. I'm not sure if I'll be on Facebook, but I will try to be on Facebook, but I'll definitely be on YouTube for sure. Anybody that's on Facebook, if you're not following me on YouTube, you should definitely come over to YouTube and follow me on the YouTube channel. I'm Patrice L. Stewart on YouTube. I'm Patrice L. Stewart on TikTok. On TikTok, there are several fake pages of me. All right. Several, to the point to where I don't even have time no more to look at them. Y'all don't have to send them to me. You know my real page if you following me. You don't have to send me these fake pages, because there's so many of them. It just is what it is, right? This is the day and world that we live in, where people want to fraud you and act like they me. So I will never reach out to you and ask you for money. I will never send you a message and trying to put you into crypto. I don't sell crypto. I don't teach crypto. And again, I'm not asking you for money. That makes no sense for me to be in financial services on here talking to you, and then I'm in the comments begging you for money. Like, you should know that that's not me. I do have 87,000 followers on TikTok. I have 18,000 on YouTube, and I have 26,000 on Facebook. So make sure that you are on the right page and channel. If it's brand new, the person just started the page a day or two ago, again, that should be a red flag, y'all. All right. So some stuff should be a little common sense out here, okay? To utilize, okay? So I will see y'all tomorrow for Big Business Saturday. Enjoy your evening, your Friday night, and I'm out. Oh, gee, I'm done. Exactly one.